Welcome to the Grind to Greatness podcast, where we dive deep into the world of relentless determination, hard work, and unwavering dedication to help you unlock your full potential. We're your hosts, Jonathan and Joseph, and your mentors along this journey to greatness. Each week, we'll bring you inspiring stories, expert insights, and practical tips where we've turned our dreams into reality through sheer grit and resilience. Whether you're looking to excel in your career, improve your health and well-being, or simply level up in life, this podcast is your go-to source for strategies, motivation, and the mindset needed to achieve personal excellence. Welcome back to another episode of the Grind to Greatness, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. This episode is brought to you by Unconquerable. Unconquerable is not just a Facebook group. It's a sanctuary for those who are dedicated to the art of doing things, never giving up, and leading by example. Here we celebrate the indomitable human spirit, the unbreakable will, and the unwavering commitment to growth no matter the obstacles. Head into Facebook, search Unconquerable, and get into the group today. Jonathan, welcome back, my brother.
What's up, man? How you been?
Man, bro, I have been gratefully unsatisfied.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. That's amazing. That means you're on the growth path.
Bro, I stole your quote.
You're on the growth path, brother.
Yeah.
And you've been, ditching me for other women, which is cool.
My bad.
Which is cool.
I've been crushing it, though. Bro, we added another coach this week.
Yeah.
We added 2 build your own coach clients.
Yeah.
Social media has been on point, bro. I've been
feeling good.
Hey, I started waking up at 5 a.m. again. So, training. Shout out to my buddy Freddie. Meeting every day at the gym, 5 a.m., 5:30.
Yeah.
Bro, I've been on it.
So check this out. This is why you need people in your circle on the same mission, the same impact, the same energy, the accountability, because I've been at all-time high.
Yeah.
I got business has a heartbeat. I got client. I get an email that I got a new client, so that's trickling in here and there. I just got another 100K in capital for real estate. Just out of nowhere, this opportunity showed up. And so now, I was shooting for 100, now I got 187.
Hell yeah.
And so that's going to be a shift, new game plan. I wanted a 10X, so now I can really put some new moves and things into place. But first, we're going to go through our mentor, the guy who are actually paying, who has the systems and knowledge to kind of guide us in the right direction, because Jonathan's a big dreamer. So I need to figure out if the plan is the plan, and we should have a consultation here in a couple weeks.
Hell yeah.
So we can get that set up, man. So
bro.
On fire, like everything, nutrition, workout, mindset, wife, children, like feels good, bro.
It's such a good feeling.
Shout out to you, homie. Shout out to you.
Such a good feeling. I love it. And this is the energy, this is the vibe, this is the moments that I really think people don't get enough of. And it's about everything we've ever talked about on every single episode: setting up the right systems, having the right environment, just pushing through the suck and the pain and the grind. And because this moment's not gonna last forever.
Oh, right? Seasons.
It's a seasonal thing.
Seasons.
But man, it feels good.
Yeah, it does.
It feels good, bro. I woke up today and I was just like, fuck yeah.
You smell it.
Bro, it's just success is in the air.
And it's wild. I don't know about you. I'm in a different situation with growing new companies. So financially, it's not where it should be. But the act of it, seeing the progress, that delayed gratification.
Yeah.
In the middle, you got to create these mini wins. So those are the things I look forward to. So for me, one day I'm extremely up. The next day I'm like, right? It's like, And then the next day, so me, I'm kind of roller coastering.
Yeah.
Right? Because I haven't had that point where it's just like, okay, you can actually breathe longer. But now I take a big deep breath in, and then boom, I'm back into the grind of right? So I have to take advantage of that sprint opportunity, and I'm going to get gassed out. And so I'm going to have those moments. But in those moments, I have that surround system. I got those friend group. I got mentors. I have Joseph. I have people to bring me back into frame when I'm not looking at things properly.
Yeah, for sure. Heck yeah. And man, another thing is, and we talked about it, we talked about it a while ago, but we were talking about books, and you're talking about your leadership, and you're like, man, I was a terrible leader, so I had to go read books, right? Yeah. And we have 3 interns from UTSA that just started at Facts Over Fads, and we had our intro call last week, and so today was our first call, which is why I'm late. But we had our first call, so they didn't start until yesterday. Yesterday was day 1.
Okay.
So last week was like an intro call where I really got to like set the standard and like present my leadership style.
Yeah.
And man, they showed up to the call today so squared away. Everything I had asked them to do for this call today was done.
Yeah.
Great ideas, great mindset, solutions, taking accountability and taking charge. Like we have 2 males and a female, and the female's like, nope, I'll do that, guys. Don't worry about it. I'm gonna take care of it. Male, nope, I'm gonna do that, guys. But hey, let's collab, you and I, because they had similar ideas, bro.
Yeah.
It was cool to watch these 3 kids, 20, 21 years old, firing on all cylinders because I set the standard early.
Yeah.
And, you know, kind of drove like a commanding presence.
Yeah.
I mean, it was awesome to see them firing today.
That's good, man.
Heck yeah.
So that's almost end goal, is to be able to not just impact your direct community, but to create other leaders to make a massive impact for them to make an impact on their communities.
Yeah.
And that's what I loved about leadership when I was into leadership, is not only can I make my direct impact right here, but if I can help you make a direct impact over there, that can make a direct impact over there. Leadership is where it's at for me. It's where my heart's at. And so I can't wait till I get coaches underneath my belt to help like make this thing, elite mind athlete, just massive on a big scale.
Dude, and again, it's by being your authentic self, and we're gonna dive into social media here in a second, but like you've been posting some authentic shit, you know, that, you know, and you've been getting some kickback. And I want to tell you a story. You know, we just added a new coach to Fads, and here's how it happened. Guy messages me and he says, hey Joseph, like, you don't know me, but I've been following you for a while. You know, another coach put me on tune with you and told me to follow you and yada, yada, yada. And I just want to say, like, I love everything you're doing. I'm from Detroit, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
I was like, cool, bro, like, let's connect. Like, whatever you need, let me know. He's like, man, I just love your spirit. I love your hardness. I love your truth. I love, you know, you just very stable in your coaching appearance. And he's like, there's just not enough of that, right?
Yeah.
So we get to talking. He wants to kind of dive into this nutrition world. He wants to dive into the online space. And so I say, cool, man. I said, you know what? I have 2 options for you. I can build you a business and build you the systems and flow and just kind of set you free for you to do whatever. And that's X amount of dollars a month. Or you can be part of the Facts Over Fads team. Because if you truly, like, you know, believe and love everything I do, I would love for you to take that same mindset, that same appearance on publicly and just go grow it in Detroit, right?
Yeah.
He's like, bro, I'm part of the team.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't want to do my own thing. I want to do what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was like, bro, badass.
Absolutely.
And, you know, we talked about on the Best Coaches call about, you know, trainers are kind of getting out of this world like flies. They're just dropping like flies, needing new jobs and stuff like that and struggling. And, you know, if you stay true to who you are and you keep beating down this path and this journey and you keep your passion, you know, at the forefront of your mind and you choose passion over money, man, you're going to succeed. And it's so powerful.
So it's funny you say that, because I made a strong post. And so for 7.5 years, being aligned with a company to be successful in this alignment, this goes for anybody. If you're working for a company, if you want to truly be successful in that space, then you need to adopt the mission and stay in alignment with the company values, right? And it may not align with you perfectly, but if you want to be part of that and part of that growth, then you have to fully adopt it. And unfortunately, a lot of us, we adopt it, but we have to lose a part of ourselves.
Right.
And so you couldn't truly be your authentic self because it's not part of what you agreed to. You agreed to this. You better hold yourself to that standard, right? And so, but when you do that, you are losing a piece of you, and then the only time you can be you is when you clock out.
Right.
So for 7.5 years, we all know, you know, I've been with CG, the franchise, and it has a wonderful mission. My mission is always to serve and to love and to impact, right? But there's one thing that I felt out of alignment with, is Jonathan is almost to a savage in a great way, right? If anybody's in my circle, and if you were somebody who actually worked with me, you knew I was a savage. But I had to put on this positivity, this ruha, and it didn't align with me because my entire life, none of that worked for me. And I can only speak from my experience that it was only the hardships and the struggle and the grind and the pain and learning how to leverage those emotions that transferred change. It's the actual truth, right? It's not to hide your feelings and to me tiptoe around your feelings. No, the best moments has always been when somebody loved me, that gave me the cold hard truth. And then that's when I had to determine, which is we're going to go on our topic, was that the right advice or not, right? But the main thing is, now I post on who Jonathan truly is, and it's probably a big change because people saw Jonathan as like motivating and inspiring, motivating, inspiring. But when you try to please everyone, you please no one. Right?
Yep.
No great man in any historical event was liked by everyone. And when you try to do that, you don't make an impact.
Right.
You're just trying to play soft because you might hurt someone's feelings, so you don't.
Yeah.
And when I did that, my entire social media is based off giving you tangible, actionable steps as a story. And it was always rah. No engagement, no likes, no nothing. Fucking great advice in there that's tangible, but no traction. The minute I said, I'm going to be me, I'm gonna give you the cold hard truth, and then I'm gonna give you some fucking actionable steps to help you execute. And I felt like shit because I almost really truly adopted the other side for a minute. And I was like, whoa, I posted it and I was I don't like how this feels. And I was like, it's a lot of energy. I don't like wasting energy. And I started seeing all the comments. I'm like, it's a lot of energy. I don't know if I like this. I was like, who are you, Jay? So I'm trying to figure out my identity. And it's confusing. I talked to my wife and she was also confused because she's been so adopted to that Jonathan, but she also knows the struggle. For 7.5 years, I had almost mentally broke down because I don't know how long I could keep being this other person because deep down, I'm a hard dude. Like I'm going to fucking pick your ass up and I'm going to throw you in there with me and I'm going to be there to fucking fight with you, right? And so we had to break it down and adjust because a lot of people were super against it. Had a lot of people texting me on the side, people I love, throwing their advice at me and saying that I was in the wrong. And deep down, I knew I wasn't in the wrong, but I did make a slip. Okay. Which is why I felt off because the post I made didn't have context. Okay. And so whenever you leave a post with no context, it leaves the realm of open up a can of worms. You don't know what it actually means. I'm like, all right, Jay, I did piss a lot of people off, but also I got a lot of messages saying you spoke truth. And I was like, wow. People are actually commenting. People are actually like, hey, dude, I'm aligned with that. Then I have this other side with actually people that I love. I'm not aligned with that. What the fuck are you doing? And I'm like sitting here and I'm trying to dissect it. I'm like, all right, I love what I did and I didn't love what I did. What was the problem? The problem was I didn't give context. Next time, I'm going to give context, but also I'm going to do what Jonathan normally does. I'm going to give you tangible, fucking actionable steps to help you get out of the position you are in. And so I made an adjustment. I owned my shit, made an adjustment, next post, clickbait the fuck out of you with some truth. But also when you open it up, I'm going to give you the tangible, actionable steps to fucking move to the next level. And you're going to be like, oh, well, maybe he's not an asshole. And then when I did that, I felt better. That was Jonathan. Hard, but also here's the fucking steps.
And it's funny you say that because I've battled with this my whole life because I've always been the asshole. And going back to franchise and going back to Gold Gym as well, when I was with Gold Gym, is you had to sugarcoat things. You had to refrain from saying things a certain way so you didn't hurt anybody's feelings. And so, now that we're both on our own, we don't have anybody to answer to except ourselves. We can tap into that side of us that is extremely hardcore, a little bit smart ass, a little bit mean. But we do it out of the kindness of our heart because we want to open your eyes to everything you're missing. Or to things like numbing cream, right? Or things that are setting you up for failure, like delivery apps on your phone, right? So, but to your point, like, yes, I want to target some of your heartstrings. I want to get you emotional about this clickbait topic. But I also want you to know that I'm going to give you some solutions.
Absolutely.
And I'm giving you solutions because I care.
I serve because I've been there. Like everything that I speak about, every topic, I've been that guy.
That's what people don't understand is I don't talk shit just to talk shit. I talk shit because I'm talking shit first to myself. And it's either something I'm going through currently or something I've gone through in the past and gotten better at. Right?
It's funny you say that because I made another post and it was talking about being an emotional dude is a liability, right? Because you're giving your energy to some other person, some other man, and you're a liability at this point because you're emotionally triggered. When you can't think straight, you're erratic. You can make some decisions that could drastically impact your life for the future. Go to prison, go to jail. Like you could do some shit when you don't have emotional control. You aren't emotionally strong. And I basically was stop fucking commenting on somebody else's platform and getting triggered. Like that's exhausting. I can't imagine a life of where social media is getting you triggered all day. And so when I was starting getting feedback from different people and I was about to start fucking going back with them, I looked at my post. I was like, no, I'm not going to let this person have power over me. No, thank you.
Yeah.
So I had to hold myself to my own standard because I almost went back to, I was about to, and I was like, no, I need my energy. I don't need to be frustrated. They have opinions. That's awesome. That's for them. This is for me. This is my journey.
Yeah.
And I can only speak on me. But then I remembered that fucking Facebook post that says, you're a liability if you're emotionally weak.
Yep.
And I was like, standards.
Yep. And it's funny to think about because if you look at any social media influencers, 100,000 followers, million followers, 80 million. I was watching I forget Kabi, the silent guy who doesn't make any noises.
Oh yeah, that dude.
He just like reacts to stuff, he doesn't make any sound. 80 million followers, right?
Yeah.
You scroll through the comments, and there's a lot of negative shit in there. And I'm like, the dude isn't saying a single word.
Yeah.
He's just being a comedian without even talking.
Yeah.
And there's haters on that.
Yeah.
And it's like common sense shit, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, man, how do you get to 80 million followers? And he doesn't interact with any of it.
Yeah.
He's not in his comments.
Yeah.
He's just posting and going. He's putting all of his energy into his passion, which is creating this content.
He's building. And there is like an analogy is who's going to build the biggest tower, right? Is it the person who's going to keep on building, or you're going to be the person to jump off from what you're doing to go try to bring this person down, right? I'm going to go try to knock your tower down. But while you're doing that, you know what you're doing? You stop building.
You start building your own tower.
You stop building. Well, I'm here still building. You stopped.
Yeah.
I'm going to beat you.
Yeah.
And so that was a cool analogy, and I was like, dude, who's going to win?
Going back to what you said earlier about like figuring out who you are, where you align with mission statements and stuff like that. Matthew McConaughey has a great quote, and he says, what's the most important thing is actually where you are not, right? And who you are not. So a lot of times people are trying to figure like, where am I? Who am I? What do I do? And it's hard, right? But start to narrow it down by who you are not. And you can kind of figure that out a lot closer. So like our company is very, facts over fads. I'm obviously not part of any fad, and I don't support any fad. So who I am not, but like, who are we? Pretty much anything else, besides a fad. So it's a little bit easier to figure out like who you are not and where you are not, to try to align yourself with whatever direction or journey you want to go on. And again, like the whole purpose of this podcast is talk about people being people, right?
Yeah.
Giving unsolicited advice, spending emotional energy on social media. And I'm not saying you can't interact with people and stuff like that,
Absolutely.
But when you're getting immediately frustrated and triggered, and you're trying to push that negative energy onto whoever's post it is, or onto another comment of someone you don't know, I mean, you're an extreme liability.
Yeah.
And I want to say it was Andrew Tate who was like being mentally tough. Like, you don't want people who are emotionally triggered. Everyone's like, oh, you need to just act on your emotions and do what you're like. What does your emotions tell you? What does your gut tell you?
It tells you to react.
Hell, bro, you'll go out and kill people.
Yeah.
Like, hell, you'll make stupid mistakes, stupid decisions.
Yeah.
No. Like, you need to reel that shit in, and you need to not be a liability.
Yeah.
And you need to be able to control your emotions at any given moment.
Yeah.
And put them into a positive direction, whatever it may or may not be, right? And I mean, people are going to disagree with you all the time, and I always like to bring up 2020, election year, and it was, Trump is there, and everyone is so emotionally triggered, and literally loved ones are now becoming enemies based off of who you're going to fucking vote for. Shut up. Like, I always ask people, if an election is so important, after the election day, after we know who the president's going to be, you wake up the next day. What do? You fucking go right back to work. Life continues on. Nothing fucking changes. And you just ruined some of your most important relationships for nothing at all.
Absolutely.
I don't care if we politically did. I really don't care.
The most successful people in the world don't worry about things they have no control over.
No control.
They worry about the shit they have control over.
It is wild. And so people being people, and going back to social media, just offering unsolicited advice or your unsolicited feedback, or taking the post and manipulating it.
Oh, this is my favorite.
And going a completely, I'm like, what are you talking about? And so to give you some context, right, I made a post, and it was targeted to trainers who are just kind of all about the money, which is sad because obviously it means one of their businesses are failing, so they have to go out and do other things. But those other things that these people are choosing goes against everything they've been preaching for however long they've been in the industry. So take CG, for example. We have coaches who, again, maybe not now because the culture has changed, but think back like, man, when CG was in its prime, 2017, 2018, 2019, coaches were like zero excuses. Let's get outside. Let's group together. Let's fucking have all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Work hard. I don't care if it's cold. I don't care if it's raining. We're going to get together. We're going to work out. We're going to train hard.
Yeah.
These same coaches are now selling the easy way out.
Yeah.
Take this cream, take this peanut butter spoonful of chocolate syrup bullshit and lose weight, drop 5 and 5, and I'm now an affiliate of this MLM company over here, and so on. And it's like, what? Like you went in a completely different direction to what you've been preaching for the past 5 to 7 years.
You know what causes that?
Fear for money.
Starving of money.
Yeah.
Starving of money will make you do some crazy shit. Starving will make you do some crazy shit.
For sure.
If we had no food, I will kill you and eat you to that extent, right? So when you don't have money, it's
so sad.
It's so easy to be pulled on what that next thing is going to feed your family, right? That you can make some decisions that are not in line with your morals.
Yeah. And I've talked about it before, but oftentimes when businesses are struggling and stuff, double down on your efforts, 10x, right? Like don't go look for something else and go put all your time, energy, and effort into that thing over there. Double down on what you have right in front of you and get back to the grind. Because if you were successful at once upon a time, you could go be successful again.
Yeah.
But if you actually thought about the time, energy, and effort you spent the round one of being successful, you just need to duplicate that right now. And I guarantee you it will come back.
Well, most people don't want to spend the time to go learn that pain point.
Yeah.
Right. So I had the pain point, the same one that everyone else had in CG world. Acquisition system failed. You cannot get monthly new leads.
Yep.
So what did I do? I went back to school. I studied business. I had to go figure out all the back end work that I never had to learn before because CG catered to me and spoon fed me for so long that when the spoon feeding stopped, I was like, oh shit, what do I do? All right, so what did I do? One, I knew CG wasn't going to get me to the spot I needed to go. But two, I understood that this pain point, if I don't solve this, any other business I create, I'm going to fail.
Yep.
So I've read so much books, so many freaking books. There was some information that I missed. I started to paint the picture, and then now the only thing left to do is do the inputs.
Yep.
Just do the inputs, implement the inputs, get the fucking outputs. You are going to suck. You're going to suck. So when you start looking and reframing everything as a skill, even though I am following the plan, I have to realize that my skills are not sharp. Yeah. So it's not the plan that's fucked up. Right. It's me. So what do I need to do? I need to continue to double down on my efforts so that way I can build the skills and practice and hone in on that craft to eventually my skills are refined. So when I do the do, I get the outcome.
Yep. And no one does it. And they just pivot and they go somewhere completely different. And it's like, man, now you're going to spend 6 to 9 months at a new job with a new passion or a new industry that you probably don't care much about. And you're going to fail over there eventually too. But again, it's for the fear of money and starvation of money. So I used that post to show people, just how sketchy trainers could be. That was essentially the premise of the post. That was my purpose of the post.
Yeah.
This guy comments on it. I'll never work outside in this cold weather. I'll never do that again. That's so stupid, blah, blah, blah. And so I thought about that mindset of just being scared of being cold. Like if you're already making excuses because of the weather, what else are you making excuses about in everyday life?
Yeah.
And I was like, I try to think through like, what's a situation, an environmental situation where I'm like, I would never, ever again. That was meant to be positive, right? Because we want you to come outside in the cold to exercise because exercise is positive.
Yeah.
And we want you to be in shape and we want you to be healthy. It wasn't a negative. It's not a negative thing. The only thing negative is that it's cold.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, what healthy thing would I have that sort of negative outlook on? And I couldn't find one.
Yeah.
If someone was, I don't care how difficult it was going to be. If I knew it was for my own good, why would I not say yes? And I'm not saying you have to be out there in shorts and a tank top in 20-degree weather.
Yeah.
Right? Like, bundle up, do whatever you got to do. It's going to be uncomfortable for a little bit, but we all know after the first 10, 15 minutes of the warm-up, you're fine.
Yeah.
Right? And then I thought about your environment, right? Because oftentimes, like, we forget that the North is cold as fuck. Mm-hmm. And they're not making excuses. Imagine if we didn't even go to work. Yeah. People got late calls. People got to work from home. School got canceled. for 20-degree weather,
for being cold,
for being cold, literally being cold. And I'm like, imagine if New York, Chicago, Montana, Wyoming, Oregon, imagine if any of those northern states canceled because they're cold.
Yeah,
they would never go to school.
They're laughing at us right now.
It is so crazy. So your environment plays such an important role. People are like 15 degrees. Yeah. It was negative 50 in Montana the other day.
So you speak of environment, right? And so same thing. My wife comes home yesterday. She has a run scheduled. Immediately, she's like, "Fuck that! It's cold." Environment. Who does she have in her corner, babe?
Get that ass
Put your fucking clothes on.
Hell yeah.
And go run.
Yeah. Fuck it.
She's like, all right.
Yeah.
It's the environment. People aren't surrounded by people who are going to encourage them when things get hard and to do it anyways. I could adjust and care about her feelings. Babe, it is too cold. Let me make you feel better. Don't work out.
And that's tough.
Fuck that. It's not tough. No, I know what the right thing is because I know how you're going to feel when you're done. And I want my wife to feel it like that when I get home.
Yeah, but we talked about it before, but making your spouse or your loved one do something painful, even though you know it's going to lead to probably something way better, is really hard in the moment. Because oftentimes, it's the same thing where spouse comes home and they're just like, I don't want to follow my meal plan. Okay, babe, let's go out to eat.
So there's levels to this, right? So we always got to put context. One, Dudley's been in my environment of performing at a high level for a very long time. So it's very easy for me to say, go do that because I know you're going to feel amazing when you're done. Versus if I wasn't doing this shit myself and I said, go do that, she's like, well, fuck you. You go do it. Nah, I'm good. So it's just a different environment, a different context. If you're early on if you're not true to your word and you can't execute the things you say, you should never tell anybody to go fucking do those things, right? You always got to be able to lead by example for a very long time and then they would follow suit.
Yeah, and that's kind of like I mean, it's I don't know, it's 30 degrees outside right now. Wind chill's like 24 or something. I think when I was on the way here, right? Yeah. And fucking bundle up. Fuck it. Let's just go through the pain. It's gonna suck. Absolutely. Neither one of us is probably super comfortable right now, but we got shit to do. Yeah. And we got to optimize what we got. And to blame the weather again, I used to remember like in 30-degree weather in Colorado, we would be in shorts. We would be in shorts because we were so used to 10, 5, 0-degree weather, snow 24/7. If it was 30 and sunny, bro, we're in shorts.
Fuck that. I hate the cold. But I wear 3, 4, 5, 6 layers because the job still has to get done, right? No, regardless. I do want to talk about one thing because I do want to make sure that we give them actionable steps of how to do 2 things. One, how do you give advice when you feel like somebody's in the wrong? Okay. And, so I'm curious. Because, being in leadership, this is something that you're going to have to deal with, how to give advice when you know somebody's in the wrong. Because as a leader, you're running the head and you can see things other people can't see. Right. So what you don't want to do is just to give advice. And this could be in relationships. This could be in our relationship. I'm not just going to tell you, Joseph, I think you're doing this wrong. And so if you feel like this person honestly needs some information, then you can't just give it to them. You know why? They're not asking for it. So this is a key. I learned this in a podcast a couple years ago, and it was on relationships, and I was struggling with having communication with my wife, and I was always looking just to help her, give her advice. Motherfucker, she never asked you for the advice. And then she's like, it was a lady on this podcast, she's like, have you ever tried asking them, do you need me to listen to you? Or do you need my feedback?
Bro, pause, because bro, so I guess it was last year 2022 last year, from June until December. I had a travel nurse live with me, right? She's from Oregon, and she's in San Antonio. She's renting out a room, and we became friends. And I would come home, I would vent to her about work, business, girls, I would just vent, right? And because I'm a communicative person, my whole life is open. Like I don't hide anything. And she hit me with that question one day. I'm over here vent, and she goes, Joseph, do you want me to listen to you, or do you want me to give you some feedback? And I was like, oh shit, because I might not be ready to hear the feedback. I might not even want it.
Absolutely.
And sometimes you do just want to vent, and then you feel better after it. Or while you're venting, you're also solving the problem in your own head.
Yeah.
Because you're listening to yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which is why I think journaling is so popular and so beneficial, because you're writing it down, you're seeing it, you're hearing it, you're reading it, whatever the case may be. But bro, that is huge.
It's massive, because I'm over here just giving advice because I have solid advice.
Yeah.
All right. I go down the deep journey of self-development and I go through all the experiences. I have solid advice. I know what you're going through, but it doesn't matter if I have solid advice or not. If I give her unsolicited feedback, it's never good. She didn't ask for it. It's never good. I didn't want your fucking feedback.
Never good.
All right. So don't shove your thoughts and opinions on me.
Yep.
Now, on the opposite end of the spectrum, if they ask you that, hopefully they do ask you that, because that is the proper way to actually communicate with a human being.
Right.
Don't throw your fucking opinions down somebody's throat unless they ask. But how do you know if you should agree to their feedback? Because some people might say, yes, let me have your feedback, but they're the wrong fucking person to get feedback from. You don't want feedback from them.
Yeah.
So what is that framework?
So there's two parts to this, I think, in my world. One, I don't like confrontation actually at all, even though it might seem contradicting. I actually don't like confrontation. But so for me, if someone is so the original question was, if someone's doing something wrong, how do you give them feedback, or how are you going to, give them? I always give them the power to explain themselves. So like, hey, whatever you're doing, hey, talk me through it. Walk me through your thought process. Walk me through your system. Tell me about it, right? And then I'll start to question it. And I'll just start to question, like, again, super situational dependent, but start to question, like, well, what if this fails? What if someone says this? What if this breaks? And I'll just start kind of getting them thinking outside of that. Or even to the point of, what would your mom think about this?
Okay.
Or what would your grandma think about this, right? How would you change what you're saying, or would you change what you're doing based off of your population?
Yeah.
And I'll just kind of get them thinking about the whole situation, the roundness of whatever environment is. And then I'll start to give them, like, I would give them advice if that was the direction the conversation was going. And then I would always ask them to challenge me back.
Yeah.
Challenge. If I say something wrong, or something you don't agree on, which is what you and I talk about all the time, like, man, if we're gonna butt heads, like, we have two different perspectives of life. So if I ever say something, challenge me.
Yeah.
Like do the same thing to me. Pick apart what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And provide me, well, what about this? Well, what about that? And I think it becomes much more of a fluid conversation, rather than one of you is the leader and one of you is the follower, and you have to do whatever the leader says, no matter what, even if you disagree. It becomes much more of a fluid conversation.
Absolutely. So that's in terms of leadership, right? So one of the golden rules that I've learned, because I learned the hard way, and I always learn the hard way, which is why I was struggling, because we'd be in group teams environments, and sometimes I would tell people them what they're doing wrong in the group environment. Yeah. Right?
Ooh, like in front of others?
In front of others.
Yeah.
And not to me, in my head, I'm getting them great feedback. Right? I'm helping you. But what's actually happening was, after researching and figuring out through John Maxwell, he's like, you encourage in public and you get feedback in private. Right? So even if this person may be a little bit off the tracks, and you know it because you experienced it already, you don't tell them in front of everyone. That's a one-way ticket to them not liking you.
Yeah. What's his book?
He has the mini books. There's 5 levels of leadership is probably the main, or 21.
5 levels of leadership. Okay, that's where I know him from.
Yeah. And so this was just a strong pivotal moment, because I was like, oh, bro, I'm always correcting people in fucking groups. Yeah. And I was like, no wonder I was a shitty leader, because if they don't like you, you can't lead, right? You got to build that connection.
And they feel you're picking on them.
Yeah, absolutely. Nobody wants to feel embarrassed. Yeah. And this also goes in line with the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Yes.
How
to influence people. How to win
right.
friends and influence people. Is he's like, if you're at a table and you're at a table with 21 people and you're in a group environment and somebody is saying something that you disagree with, the minute you try to open up conversation and you disagree with that person, they don't like you. Yeah. Immediately, because you're shutting them down and you're making them feel like they're wrong in a group environment. Yep. But if you truly love this person, then you know what you can do. Outside that group, you can say, hey, you can now, as a man, as a person that I love you, here's my feedback. You can take what you want with it. You don't have to agree with me, but here's that feedback right there in a private environment. You don't do it in a group. And so if anybody's looking to give feedback, don't do it in a group.
Yep.
All right, that's not the time to do it. Encourage in public, feedback in private.
I like that. And sometimes I think, again, because a lot of us don't like one-on-one confrontation, so sometimes
It's easier.
It's easier to do it in public.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Which is probably why I did it.
Yeah, it's like, oh, well, I'm the leader. All these people respect me as the leader. So actually, I'm kind of in my comfort zone. I'm in my environment to give you criticism.
Yeah.
Because I'm the leader.
Yeah.
But like on a one-on-one standpoint, we're friends, and that's uncomfortable for me to give you criticism as a friend. And so it's too intimate, I think. And so that's where, again, I don't like criticism, or I don't like confrontation in a one-on-one environment. I'll argue all day in a group because I just feel more comfortable.
It's comfortable.
Yeah.
But if you can do it, it's just reframing the way you think. The reason why people don't do anything is because they have a limited belief on that thing, right? To do it in private, it's because I respect you and I love you, and I want to set the bar before I even tell you anything. That, hey, this is just my opinion. I understand if you do need to go that route, but I just want you to kind of open up and maybe think about it. And if it's still no, then awesome, bro. I listen. You keep doing you. I love you anyways, right? But anyways, on top of that, opposite side of the spectrum, goddamn blowers out here, is how do you know when to accept that feedback?
How do you know when to accept it?
Yeah.
I would say you accept it when you feel that the feedback was in alignment with the direction you want to go.
I don't like that.
Okay. Give me the deeper version of the Jonathan.
It's I have a simple framework of how I always determine because I get feedback from everywhere.
Okay.
All over the place, because Jonathan does some pretty crazy fucking shit, and everybody wants their opinion to give to me, right? I don't know why. It's probably because they all love me. They want to make sure I'm doing the right thing. Obviously, that's why they're giving me all this feedback. But this one simple framework saved me hundreds and thousands of dollars, and it's continued to allow me to pursue the dream. Is if somebody's giving me feedback, the only question I ask myself is, have they achieved what I want?
I knew you were going to say
Have
that.
they achieved what I wanted to achieve? And if the answer is fucking no, then I'm going to respectfully thank you for your feedback. In my head, it's going straight to trash. Unapologetically, you're not a bad person. It's just that you have not gotten where the fuck I'm trying to get to. So therefore, I can't take your feedback. It's like listening to a trainer that's fat. I honestly can't take your feedback. You may have good information, but this one simple framework is just going to protect me to keep where I'm trying to keep.
I knew you were going to say that. And we talked about that before with out of shape trainers. It's like, you don't accept financial advice from a homeless person, like so on and so forth. Like, you have to be doing the things that you're trying to give me feedback on, or have success.
Present success. I made a post. If you don't have present success in what I'm trying to achieve, I don't care about previous success, because obviously you did something wrong, which is why you don't have it right now. Gotcha. I cannot take what you have. So, pure example, my real estate journey. I've had people come out of the woodworks I don't even know give me unsolicited advice about my real estate journey. Jonathan, you're doing X, Y, Z so wrong. It's like, first of all, you don't know anything about investing. I can't listen to you. You've never been in the game. And then the tricky part, something I had to learn, is I had people who are in the game who put fears on me. Jonathan, don't do X, Y, and Z. It didn't work out for me. And then I had to understand, well, it didn't work out for you. All right, that's super important. It didn't work out for you, but I'm going to take some of your information because I'm going to see what you've messed up on, and I'm going to make it better. So that one was a little bit more difficult because they were actually in the game.
But that's a positive way to think about it, is if someone says, well, don't do this because I wasn't successful, you can pick apart why they weren't successful.
They weren't saying that. That's super helpful. Don't do this because this is what I did. They were, don't do that because I failed. That's different.
Well, so that's what I'm saying. So you get to pick apart that situation and be like, okay, well, why did you fail? And it's the same. It's about, you have to learn and know yourself, right? So if someone says, don't do this because I failed, well, they're a completely different person than you. Maybe they have a different mentality. Maybe they have a different approach. Maybe they have a different
circumstances, whatever the case may be.
Don't do this because I failed. So, but for you to be like, well, I'm still going to attempt it, because just because you fail doesn't mean I'm going to fail. But you have to have a very strong knowledge of who you are and what you're capable of. And this is, the power of business is you got to understand what you're good at and what you're bad at. And you shouldn't spend too much time on the things you're bad at. You should outsource, which is your thing, man. If you could pay someone to do this, pay someone to do that, like we should do that, because you can probably save yourself a lot of heartache.
Yeah.
But if you're just not good at something, you can do one of two things. You can outsource it, or you can fucking 10x and dive in and go 1,000,000 miles an hour down this direction that you're not good at until you become good.
Yeah.
But a lot of times people don't have the patience for that.
I have to do both.
Yeah.
I have to do both.
Yeah.
But going down it's funny you say outsource, because a lot of people are like, Jay, how the fuck are you an entrepreneur? You're like not good at anything.
Okay.
It's just almost true to the point, because I'm asking them to do something. They're like, how have you not gotten good at this?
Yeah.
I was like, well, I get people to do a lot of stuff for me.
Yeah.
Right? Because the thing that I don't want to do, somebody else loves doing that.
Yeah.
So it's a fucking win-win.
Yeah. Well, and that's a powerful thing to think about. But like, the owner and the CEO of a company should be two different people, because the owner is the visionary. That's all the owner needs to do, is come up with vision.
Yeah.
And be like, I want to do X, Y, and Z. The owner is not the implementer. The owner is not the person doing it. That's the CEO's job. And even when the CEO is like, well, I can't do all this stuff. So
I'm not a CEO, bro. Yeah. I'm a vision.
Yeah.
I look at everything. I see everything that needs to be built. And then I try to get as many people on board as possible. But when starting off, at the very beginning stages, you are everything.
You are. You have to wear all
You
the
have
hats.
to wear, which is why it's the hardest thing in the world. Is because you're trying to wear all the hats and you're doing shit that you know you're not good at, and it's frustrating, and you're self-doubt, you're freaking losing money, you're all over the place, and you don't know where to get, because at the very beginning, the number one rule of entrepreneurship is you use what you got.
Right.
I got me.
Yeah. That's all you got.
It has to go. We got to go.
Yeah. And this is for anything. So if you're not good at programming a workout, go get a trainer. If you're not good at figuring out what to eat every day, go get a nutrition coach. If you're not good at fucking optimizing your day, go get a mentor. If you're not good at getting to the next level, go get someone who's at the next level to help you. Go get help. And we talked about this last podcast of just like, you can do this the hard way or the easy way, or somewhere in the middle. Some things you can beat your head against the wall and really challenge yourself and push yourself and grow in uncomfortable environments. And other places you can hire the right help and make things easier on you so that you could 10x, or that you could jump leaps and bounds ahead and save time, right? Because we talked about on the nutrition and the fitness episode of, you can do this on your own and you'll have some results. Yeah. Or you could hire a coach and see your results in the next 3 or 4 months.
Just skip all the steps. I had that conversation with an athlete. And every intro conversation, I explain all the habits of why we do what we do. And when I get to the audio book, no athlete understands why we read them. I always ask them, do you know why we're reading? No. They all say, no, right? Yeah. And I was like, so let me explain to you. If I want to be the best pizza maker in the world, what do you think you should do?
Go learn about
and
pizza.
They all say, go practice making pizza. I was like, no. You go find the best fucking pizza maker in the world and you ask him to fucking train you.
Yeah. That's what books are.
It's going to 10x your progress. It's just a different level of thinking. And we live in an environment where we're all almost blue collars. We work with our hands. Yeah. You just work extremely hard. That's only going to get you so far. Right. Where you start have to outsourcing and use your mind to actually do things to work at a higher level. Yeah. So instead of me getting the honor of doing all the work and the grind, or I can just go learn and have somebody help me. I skip all that fucking shit.
All the headache.
Now I'm still gonna have headache, but I just skipped all the stuff.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Anyway, we need to wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up. Couple key takeaways, guys. 1, get control of your emotions. If you are triggered on social media, you are a liability.
Yeah.
Be careful of giving unsolicited advice.
Ask first.
Do you want me to listen, or do you want me to give you feedback and advice? And if you're not in the same place someone's in or better, don't give your advice at all.
Don't give your advice. I'm not going to fucking tell you to do something if I myself have not gotten there.
That's like shut your mouth. I love that.
Bro. That's good.
Man, dude, we need to end it. And then go read, go learn, challenge your brain, and the stress and toll you put on your body will probably be a lot less.
Absolutely. So with that being said, guys, I need you to share. I need you to like. I need you to subscribe. But most importantly, please, if you do like something that you hear, or if it's even just one thing, please share it with somebody. The impact that we have to make, that we're trying to make, is imperative, guys. We got to do better on making a bigger impact. So with that being said, guys, you have an amazing day, and don't work to keep up, work to separate.
Hell yeah.